Welcome, Kiss Army, to a new, exciting look at Kisstory from three longtime fans. The show diving into the band and its 50-year plus career of songs, albums, lineup changes, makeup, no makeup, makeup again, products galore, and the events surrounding it. And saying to ourselves, of course I like it, it's fun and it's Kiss, but is it critical to Kisstory? Join us as we take on the album that some say is their best, including myself, the sixth studio album and possibly their best from 1977. All right, Love Gun. This is Critical Kiss, 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 Kiss.
Critical Kiss, tearing up the screen with the legends of rock. We're living the dream. Hard-hitting heads, banging never obscene. Critical Kiss, rock and roll supreme.
All right, update on the channel. We are still around that. I think we're at 178 right now. We were at 180, dropped a couple, gained a couple, dropped a
Come
couple.
on, people,
like that
subscribe.
Come on, people.
Come on, people.
People.
Come on, people,
Yeah.
subscribe. I don't know what's wrong with y'all.
Hit that subscribe button.
And the views are always higher, so they're watching for free.
Do it now because we are just getting
started. Oh man. Of course, get our merch like this one.
Mm-hmm.
TeePublic, the links in the description. Social media, Critical Kiss 1 on Instagram. We're also on Facebook. Just type Critical Kiss in there. And then I guess Threads, but that's just kind of Instagram. But yeah, hit the subscribe button. Help out the channel. Get us in the algo. Like the video, comment down below. We've got a couple that got the trivia question right last month, so they'll be entered into the wheel of who gets a free shirt at the end of the year.
Nice. Who am I? I am Brant with In My Head channel on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and patreon.com/In My Head. And I make Kiss stuff, Kiss videos, and other videos, whatever I feel like doing, whatever's in my head. My little slogan I've been saying is, if it's in my head, it's going to be in a video. And I make content for whatever reason I want to make content. I'm getting ready to do some pool stuff and a pool cleaning robot review. I've got a 486 computer over here I want to fix because I want to play Kiss Psycho Circus. So, we're going to have some fun this summer. Going to break a little bit out of the mold, and been making videos with Carla. Those have been doing really well. People like looking at Carla. So we've been having some fun making videos over there. So yeah, subscribe here, and then go over and check my channel out. Subscribe as well if you haven't subscribed already.
Yes, and thank you, Brant, for plugging this channel on the last video. I saw that. And you called it my baby, but I think this is all of our baby.
Yeah, well, when I meant, I didn't divulge. I didn't like I didn't expand on that. That this was Tommy's idea, and he approached me and originally Rick about it, and Rick was not able to do it because of just scheduling issues and stuff like that. We fell back on our other bud, AJ. I think I remember his name, AJ. And but yeah, so this was
Yep, that's AJ.
Yeah, that's AJ. The reason why I said that is just because it was your idea, So if you hadn't come up with this idea, if you hadn't have birthed it out of your loins, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. So yeah.
All right, fair enough. I was like, that's a compliment, I know, but it's like, I don't want people to think that this is just my thing and you guys are just here filling seats. No, that's not it. This was a community effort.
Mm-hmm.
AJ _ AJR Zetro 1975. on Instagram. I have to put it in front of me because I don't remember it. And AJ's Happy Fun Time channel on YouTube. Someday I'll get throw some more stuff in there. It's kind of a chore waking up every day, trying to make it through with everything that's going on lately. So I'll get there. I'll get some regular Coke and some beers, and we'll be back on track before you know it. But yeah,
it's coming
that's
up
me.
on fall, so to be Halloween before you know it, that's your big time.
Well, it's been fall here the last couple of weeks. It's been October weather,
Yeah,
and
That's what I
same
said
now
to my wife the other
same
day.
here.
I said, if it's gonna be like this, fuck it, let's just do Halloween.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. So because in October it's out the window nowadays. But anyway, yeah, it's been nice. So yeah, but it's coming. Warm weather's coming, so I'll be in here hiding. My wife calls me a vampire. I'm like, all right. hmm That's me.
And I'm Tommy, now with clairvoyant audio files on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and whatever else. And we basically, since Levi has started collecting vinyl as well, we changed our channel from Heels and Quads originally, um, just to get out of that algorithm and try to get more into the vinyl and all that stuff. And now I've even bought a couple of CDs recently, so it's a whole thing. I've seen as I get older, my hobbies get a little more ridiculous. Like it's like I've went back in time and I'm a teenager again, even though I don't feel like it. But yeah, hobby wise, that's where it's at. And yeah, we did a show 2 weeks ago, and I think we're gonna do another one next week, which will include quite a few Kiss because I got the Unmasked as I showed in the news that was in the video that was posted yesterday when you're seeing this. And Alive 3 will be here next week on vinyl. And I just ordered a time of recording Unplugged, which kind of like gets me through the original-ish run of the band.
Critical moments. I don't have a whole lot, believe it or not. So because
Get the fuck out of here.
I intentionally left things for you guys. So the thing about this album to me, critical moments, not in history, critical moments to me concerning this album. This is the album that I got after I had Destroyer and Alive 2. So people who knows my story don't know my story. I became a Kiss fan in August of '77 after Elvis died. My grandmother bought me Destroyer at an old school drugstore, and a couple months after that, in October '77, Alive 2 came out, which my mom purchased for me right after it came out. And the Christmas of '77, I got on album. I think I got one of them on 8-track. I think I got Rock and Roll Over on 8-track, and I got Love Gun on vinyl because I remember the pop gun in it. And that was kind of like that for a little bit until the solo albums came out. Double platinum, and because I got double platinum in the solos, that was kind of like my exposure to I remember double platinum had songs on it that I'd never heard because I'd not heard any songs off the first 3 albums. I'd not heard Alive. So Love Gun was one of the albums I really wanted because it had Shock Me on it. It had a lot of the songs on it that I liked off of Alive 2. So this was a huge album for me. This album, they recorded this album that, like Tommy said, some people consider to be their best. It's kind of like a toss up between Rock and Roll Over, the first album, Rock and Roll Over, and this album. They recorded this album in like 25 days, and Ace didn't show up till like a week into recording. So a lot of the basic tracks was recorded by Gene, Paul, and Peter, and was released on June 30th, and it shipped platinum and debuted. The first Kiss album to debut and peak at number 5 on the Billboard Hot 200, and Kiss was also voted the most popular band at this time, beating out bands like Aerosmith and a lot of the other bands that were popular at the time. And they would soon be embarking on the massive Love Gun and Alive 2 tours. Uh, and Ken Kelly, Critical, he painted the cover, returned for that, painted the cover. You got the view of the this would have been now I'd already seen what Kiss looked like in their new costumes because I had Alive 2, but this was the reveal of the costumes and the most iconic costumes that they've ever done or ever will do, in my opinion. So much to the point that they've tried to rip these costumes off after this. They tried to rip them off. Um, but I think it's the most iconic Kiss costumes. It's the most iconic stage. It ushered in the most iconic era of Kiss to me from the Love Gun album to Dynasty. To me, it was all Super Kiss. I know they called Dynasty Super Kiss, but that was the costume change. But to me, this was Kiss in their zenith. This was Super Kiss. This was the propulsion of them to the top of their game, building off what they had done with Alive and Destroyer and Rock and Roll Over. And to me, it is not a perfect album. It is not a perfect album, but it is probably one of my favorite Kiss albums. And I mean, Ace finally sings. Ace, enough said.
Yeah.
It's critical
Blue
because
Kool-Aid.
get my blue Kool-Aid out. Because I was going to say it later on, but I will say it now. I'll go ahead and say it now. That Ace singing on this album launched a solo career. It launched it was the catalyst and the infancy of what he would go on to create the best solo album of the 78 solo albums. Sorry, Paul fans. That he would have this solo career that still extends to this day in 2025 that he started in 77. So, and is still touring. And so it all began with this album. So I don't know I think it was just Eddie Kramer that just kind of pushed him because Eddie Kramer also pushed him and produced his solo album. So I think Eddie and Ace had a good relationship. So I think he trusted Eddie and Shock Me is what if you get this album for anything, you should get this album for Shock Me, in my opinion. Anyway, what about you, AJ? Love Gun for you.
Love Gun for me. Yeah, shit. It was one I didn't really get at a young age. I got it. I had a my story with Love Gun is I had a poster. I had the Love Gun poster that you could find on eBay, and I think our buddy Rick has it. I had it on my wall, 5 years old, and it was, behind me on the wall where on my bed, and every night it'd fall on me, and it would scare the shit out of me. And I tried to. My mom wouldn't let me put thumbtacks in the wall, so just said shitty tape. And in the middle of the night, you hear it like just fall on my head. I'd start screaming and crying. And then finally, my mom just crumbled it up and threw it in the garbage. Like this damn.
Oh man.
Yeah, so that's kind of my thing. Maybe I don't know, but I mean, I always because Gene is so damn scary in that.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that falling on your head as a 5-year-old kid. It's like. But like you said, yeah, it is probably their best costumes. It is. I love the artwork for sure, but it would just scare the shit out of me as a kid. And yeah, I didn't really listen to the whole thing until probably when I started getting them on tape in the late '80s. When Kmart would have those Super Saver ones or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then I finally got to listen. But I heard plenty of songs off of it from over time and Alive 2 and all that because Alive 2 was like my first album I got. So. But yeah, it's like you said, not perfect, as I'm sure we'll cover. But it's a solid album for sure. And then, like you said, also you just said everything, Brent. I mean, fuck it. I mean, because
I honestly tried not to.
I think that's fine though, because I'm not good at like speaking or words in English and stuff like that. And I think. the popularity though, surely of Shock Me. I mean, look what they did to the next two albums. You know, with Dynasty and Unmasked, and then the success of his solo album. Like, oh yeah, Ace is pretty badass. So it was definitely the launch pad for him for sure, like you said. But
Yep.
good stuff.
See, and you wrapped it up so nicely at the end. You put a nice bow on it with a nice little nugget of this launched it into look at what he did on Dynasty and Unmasked. See, you don't do that. See, you're
All
good. You're
right,
good.
well, I got to go to bed now.
So the only thing that I have to add to the critical part of it is, like Brant said with the costumes, that's what they came back with the reunion tour. They had the Love Gun costumes on, not Destroyer. And there's people who love the Destroyer costumes, which I mean, I'll give it. I think Gene's Destroyer costume is possibly his best. But like with Love Gun, Ace, this he stands out so much on this.
Yeah.
And it starts with that cover. And as we're blowing Ace, like you said, Shock Me being that. But the one critical moment that kind of leads into this album being done, and they were seen in their Destroyer outfits when this happened, but the Marvel comic, we just had the anniversary of that with the
Yep.
blood and the ink and all that, even though it's said that that actually went into a Sports Illustrated. But what band had a Marvel comic
Right.
in
Yeah.
1977? That is insane to this day. And I mean, everybody even knows the comic cover. That image is ingrained in all of our brains as Kiss fans.
Totally. Track versus track is the album critical.
Yes.
All right, we're done. So of course, I did the same fare that I did in the past. I did album catalog history. So starting with the title track, "I Stole Your Love," album yes, catalog yes, history yes for me. I love "I Stole Your Love." I think it's a great way to start the album. And I know it's some people's favorite. I love it on live too, but it's great on here too. The energy that they captured, they didn't quite capture Kiss energy on this album. I think the closest they got to it, and we will talk about it more when we get to that album, but the closest they got to catching Kiss's like true sound to me is on side 4 of Alive 2. Just the way the guitars sound and the way their vocals sound and the way the drums sound.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. Of course, that's all Eddie Kramer too. And I'm just like, Eddie, you did it just 1 year later. Why couldn't you have done it on this? But yeah, but I like "I Stole Your Love." I think it's great.
Yeah, I agree. Straight down, critical all the way across. Great opening track. And the only thing with this album, I just wish it was a little heavier in the sound because the guitars could be a little more crunchier. But I don't know, maybe it was just a sign at times, or just me because I'm a metal head, obnoxious prick. I don't know, but yeah, it's a great opener, and it does when it starts off to get you ready, and it's almost like you're at the show. Um, but yeah, across the board, critical all the way down. Wish they would play it more often.
I think real quick for Tommy Talks, I think that the album, the sound of the guitars on the album could contribute to the fact that I said earlier that Ace didn't show up. Ace showed up halfway through the recording. So they had already laid down a lot of the basic tracks, and Ace almost came in just to do his solos and to record "Shock Me."
Yeah.
And "Shock Me" is all him. I mean, he's everything on that song except for the drums. And Gene and Paul give some background vocals, but that's just how Ace did. Ace is like, "Hey, my songs, I'm going to record my songs my way." And a lot of time, even when you get into Unmasked and Dynasty, he's playing all guitars, the bass, everything on those songs. So I think that you can always, when Ace and Paul are playing together, there's always a depth there because they play two different types of guitars. They have two different types of tones. and they play two different types of ways. Ace is a lot more sloppier and just kind of adds stuff onto top of what Paul has put down. But I think that a lot of the thinness of the rhythm guitar that carries most of the songs on here could be due to that it's probably mostly Paul.
Yeah, good. That's a good theory. It makes sense for sure.
Well, and they're also Ace is also known for using Telecasters
Mm-hmm.
when they record, and
Right.
Paul as well. They used, like you said, an array of different kinds of guitars, and that
Yeah.
affects the sound because a Telecaster has that thinner sound to it,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you're playing rhythm with it. But yes, I Saw Your Love across the board, Critical, my favorite concert opener ever, whether it be on the Love Gun Alive 2 or Hot in the Shade, like we talk about all the time. I would love, my perfect set list is I Stole Your Love into King of the Nighttime World. That's my perfect 1-2 punch. Um, I, just it's as far as like energy, I Stole Your Love. I mean, it's full of energy, and it always brings me back to the scene in Detroit City when the mom puts the record on and she spills the wine all over herself. What is this? I mean, that's growing up as a teenager. Maybe not with my mom because my mom loved Kiss, but it's I could imagine like my dad's mom when he put that record or this record on and that hit, and she's like, "What the hell is he listening to now with his weird like bleach streak he had like a skunk?" It almost look he teenage pictures of my dad. He almost looks like Jay Leno's hair with like that little streak in the front. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think it's the perfect opener. And I know Brent, you've had discussions with Carly even where it's like Love Gun should have opened the album, the title track, because it is the title track. And I don't see it that way. I think I Stole Your Love is the perfect opener, and Love Gun opens side B. It's almost
Yeah.
like it's it's one of those little nitpicky things where nobody's really wrong. It's all a
Right.
matter of opinion. Just in my opinion, I think I Stole Your Love is the perfect opener for Love Gun.
If you had during the 70s especially and into the early 80s, if you had a song on the album that was your title track, it usually opened side two.
Yeah.
That's where they always used to stick it. And it's not they follow suit directly on this with Love Gun being the lead track on side two. I think it's perfect where it is. I think when me and her were talking about that, I was like, well, I think it's perfect where it's at.
Yeah. Yeah,
All
and
right,
I'm not
so
knocking her opinion.
oh
Like I
no
said,
no and no she don't care. I mean she her opinions are her opinions. I mean she's used to catching a lot of crap because of her love for Great Expectations. So
Expectations.
which we like it too.
that's what she's known for. She loves Great Expectations. So
Hey,
track
I like it too.
Yep.
touch your breast. Music drives you wild. I like it
You're
too.
reeling
I mean,
me in. Yeah. It's a good song.
It's great.
Even as a kid, I liked it.
Yeah. He's
Track number 2,
impressed.
Christine. Christine
Christine!
16.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. Christine 16. Critical album, yes. Catalog, yes. History, yes. I mean, it's Christine 16. It's
A charting single.
yeah, and it's Christine 16. I mean, it's one of those songs that even today, you hear people go, "Oh, Christine wouldn't be 16 now; she'd be 60." Yeah, she'd probably be one of those 60-year-olds that's still hot too. Christine probably took care of herself. So yeah,
She's been around, but she's young and clean.
yeah, she's been around.
That's a gross line. Really.
She's been around.
It's a gross line, but it's my favorite line of the song, the way it's sang.
She's
Yeah.
been around.
And musically, yeah, musically. Yeah.
I love the whole, even though he can't halfway sing it live, the monologue. Don't usually say things like this to girls your age.
Extra creepy.
Yeah.
Extra creepy.
I mean,
I knew.
it's like Gene would be on the list.
Yeah, he would. He'd be on a watch list
But
for
like
sure.
we've said before, I always see it as they knew their audience,
Hmm.
and I know this isn't the case. It was just the sign of the times.
Oh yeah,
But the way I justify it is they knew their audience was teenage boys, so they're
True.
singing it from their perspective of a
Yeah,
teenage boy. So,
I hear you.
whatever. I shouldn't have to justify it. It's a song. It
I
doesn't
think.
mean
And if you think about it, you think, oh, that was a '70s thing. Well, it was they were doing it in the '80s. She's only 17.
yeah.
But then you look back to the '50s, look back to the doo-wop era. She was
Hmm.
only 16, only
Yeah.
16.
The Beatles.
Young girl, stay out of my life. My love for you's way out of line, but a wrong girl.
Hmm.
I mean, so that underage thing, it's always been like that.
Well,
Totally wrong.
She was just 17.
17. Yeah. So it's always been that kind of taboo
And
I
there
guess
goes our
kind of
monetization.
thing.
17
Yeah.
is close enough. Remember with Stray Cats too, right? Was it Sexy
Yeah.
and 17?
Sexy and
Mhm.
17. Yep.
Right.
Yes, yes, yes. For me, Christine
Yeah.
16.
See, now I've never really been a huge fan of this song,
All right.
but
Show's over.
yeah, I mean, the album is I'm kind of in the middle. Catalog, I really don't think so, but for history, yeah, yeah, because it's part of their history, and they would do it live, and but that creepy monologue in the middle there is for me. But I'd probably go. I guess I go. I guess I go. Yes, yes, no, yes for me.
Okay.
And it's yes across the board for me.
Yeah, see,
It
And I
kind of
like the
feels,
demo version too with the Van
yeah,
Halen brothers.
yeah, yep. So track number 3, Got Love for Sale. I say it's critical to the album because I really like Got Love for Sale. I think it's awesome. The way Gene sounds in it, the way he sings and the yeah, starting that kind of stuff. She starts singing in that growl that I really love that Gene does. Um,
Oh
and I love when
no.
they break into that have love will travel. I got love for sale. I love that when they do the falsetto high stuff. But I don't think it's critical to the catalog. It kind of gets lost in the catalog, and it's definitely not critical to history. Um, history and the catalog itself would not change without it, but this it would change the tone of this album if it didn't have it. So I'd say it's critical to the album, but not to the catalog or history.
There's a song I never really paid attention to. It kind of just went over my head until I heard him do it on his solo tour on YouTube last 2 years ago or whatever. I'm like, wow, this song is really awesome. So I went back and I listened to it, and yeah, for the album, yeah, I think it's pretty critical on the album, but the catalog and the history, no, it's also it drives me nuts that I keep hearing the acoustic guitar bleed through. I'm like,
The
it just
pling.
yeah, that's why I like the live one on his solo because it was like heavy. I'm like, it's got a good like driving beat. I'm like, yes, this is a badass song, but
Yeah,
I just wish it was sounded a little better. But over
yeah.
time, it helped me like it. So yeah, for the album for sure. But the other two things, I'd have to say, nay, nay. Unfortunately, I wish they would have embraced it because it is a good song live. At least he did it on his solo tour. It was good. So,
Yeah.
For me, it's no's across the board. Like you said,
ooh,
AJ, I just kind of always overlooked it. And not
mm-hmm,
that, I mean, I don't skip anything on this album, but it's like,
no.
it's just, I always feel like I'm waiting, I always feel like I'm waiting for the next song to hit. Like, I don't know if that's just because it's my favorite of all their albums or what, but this one's just kind of like blends in. Um, but I mean, I like it.
Yeah,
I do notice the acoustic guitar, yeah, that is kind of obnoxious, but like Brant said too, the harmony and the falsetto, I love that. And the have level travel is my favorite part of the song.
Hmm.
I agree with that. But I
And
mean,
it's
it's one of those ones where you're just kind of like, okay, what's next? So
Okay.
that's why I say it's not critical of the album.
Yeah, it's funny how Kiss fans and music fans in general like different things. Because me personally, I like the extra overlay and the extra texture of the acoustic guitar. So I can't help it. You guys are wrong. Don't have good taste.
I would like it as to fill in the gaps in the
Yeah,
background, but when I hear
Yeah.
it louder,
it'd be cool if it was kind of chunking along behind everything, just
yeah, that would be fine.
like
Yeah.
on a low. Yeah, be
Yeah, but
cool.
it's just
Like
strumming
most of
chords.
the other songs where like on Destroyer where there's acoustic. Like it's not as out in front like it is on this. It's
Yeah,
like it's almost obnoxious.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like you said, it could be missing the ace parts. Maybe he wasn't there for that.
Yep. All right. Speaking of Ace,
Yeah.
next track, Shock Me. Yes, 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 all the way across.
Mhm.
Everybody knows I love this song. Everybody knows that this song is my jam. It's my favorite song on this album. Anytime I'm playing this album, I go to Shock Me first, play it, then start the album over.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because and then start the album over and I go through it again and get to
Yeah.
hear it. Shock Me. I just have to hear it first. If I'm going to listen to this album, either on my turntable, streaming, however, CD, whatever, I have to hear "Shock Me" first. I can't wait, and then I listen to everything else.
Like a kid at
And
Christmas.
yeah, I can't wait. So "Shock Me," I mean, it's critical to the album, critical to the catalog and history. Like I said earlier, it launched a dude's
Yeah.
it launched a dude's career, and not only in the band. I mean, he was already well liked for his performances and solo and stuff. But when he stepped up to the mic and started singing,
Hmm.
forget about it. That was it.
I just think of the missed opportunities from the albums before where he could have sang and didn't.
Oh yeah, because you hear him singing stuff like "Parasite" now, and I
Oh
love
yeah,
it because when I went and saw him, he sang "Parasite," and I love the way he sings it
yeah.
because he's like, "She's always leaving, trying to grab a hold." I mean, just like, oh God, we could have been hearing that the whole time.
But at least we did get to hear it though. It
Yeah,
took
at least we
40
got to hear
years.
it. I mean, it's
40
cool to
years.
hear him sing songs now on his solo tour, hearing him sing Cold Gin, hearing him sing Parasite.
Yeah.
It's cool to finally get to hear that, even though the voice has aged a little bit. It's cool to actually get to hear it.
So,
So
yeah.
what do you guys shock me?
I agree. It's just yes down across the board. It's great. And like I said earlier, it was a springboard for his career and the future Kiss records. So, I mean, this wouldn't be. I can't imagine Kiss history not existing without that. And that's why I got so pissed off when they let Tommy try and sing it before. It just didn't
I
have the
saw
same.
him do it.
Oh no, it just no.
Shock me.
Shock me. We're an Ace podcast, so yes, across the board.
Very pro
However,
Ace here.
it's not my favorite song on the album. It's my third actually, but this is my favorite album, so I mean, being third favorite, that's still high praise on an album that has what, 10 tracks. But like a lot of people say there's some clunkers on here, but Shock Me, we get the arrival of the spaceman persona, in my opinion, for real, because we're getting to hear him. And yeah, you hear him in some background vocals before, but this is just, it's such a different voice. And I remember hearing it the first time and just going, who is singing this? Because it's so weird and different, his, that Bronx accent, and yeah, I love it. And the guitar work on it's incredible, of
Oh yeah.
course, and
Mhm.
it's great on a live too. I'd
Mhm.
say it was better on Unplugged, but it wasn't on there. But
All
yeah,
right.
yes, across the board.
All right, next track, Tomorrow and Tonight. The song that they tried to recapture, Lightning in the Bottle of Rock and Roll All Night. It's basically, they were trying to write a follow up to Rock and Roll All Night. It, it, this actually is not, and I know that even the version on the live too, they recorded during sound check, they actually didn't perform this song. I think even they knew it wasn't. But I love Tomorrow and Tonight. I like it better on the live too, but I like it on here. I love some of the lyrics in it, you know. Um, Listening to the teacher, bosses, and the preacher, you know. I mean, it's like it's ain't never done nobody good. I think that's the last part.
It's got a nice flow to it,
It
for
does. I
sure.
mean, it's a Paul Stanley construction, you know, but
Mhm.
it falls. So that's why I think it's important to the album. So I say yes, but I don't think it's important to the catalog, and I don't think it's important to History because they never really did anything with it. I think that they felt not necessarily this is the fact, but they felt like it wasn't going to do what they wanted it to do. Um, and I've got a little known fact here, a little factoid, a little fact. Ray Simpson,
Ooh.
there's background singers. Tomorrow and Tonight, it comes in towards the end. Ray Simpson, who is the cop from Village People, is one of the background singers.
Oh,
Also a Casablanca
yeah.
band. So they probably borrowed Ray, and there was another singer there, a lady, and so it was basically Ray Simpson and a lady. They were the background singers.
Oh, okay. You do hear a different voice back there, so
Mm-hmm.
I never knew who it was. Very good. um, yeah, no, it's on the album. It's fun. It's a good, fun little party song. So I'd probably say Critical for the album, but the other two probably not. I always thought it was kind of meh.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you said, trying to do another Rock and Roll All Night, the sequel, and Shout It Out Loud, the sequel, and it was just yeah, just didn't
Mm-hmm.
even meet Shout It Out Loud's level to me. So
For sure. Yeah, yeah. It's not even shouted out loud, right?
yeah, so it's like it's all right, but I give it a yes and two no's.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean.
Uh,
What
I'll
about you?
I'll give it a yes for the album. We can rock all day. We can roll all night.
Yeah.
Tomorrow and tonight. Tomorrow and tonight. Oh yeah. Uh-huh. All right. I love it. Um. Yeah. It's like it's kind of like that Got Love for Sale vibe to me, more than a Rock and Roll All Night or a Shout It Out Loud. It's just that I'm waiting for the next thing, and in this case, I believe is where we flip. Because I know what's next.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm kind of with you, Brant. I kind of like it better on live too than I do on the album. It's almost gospely on here with
Yeah,
with the background singers.
Yeah.
that's what
And
I
not
was
that I
talking
don't like
about.
that sound, but it's just kind of I don't know. It's almost too much.
Yeah.
So yes, and the rest no. But it's
That's
okay.
that's what I always call those background singers, the gospel singers or the Pointer
Yeah.
Sisters or
Yeah.
something. It's like,
Yeah.
and Gene loved that shit. I'm like,
Oh, yeah,
so
it was very 70s. Yeah.
yeah,
But they all on their solo albums committed to it. Paul had background singers on in Move On. Gene had
yeah,
female background singers, gospel background singers through his whole album.
Hmm.
Ace had some. Speeding Back to My Baby. They all had, and Peter had female background singers on. They all committed to it. I mean, it was the 70s. That was
Yeah.
what they were doing.
And
Gene
like I
really
said,
loved it.
it's not that I don't like the sound. It's just like when I want to hear Kiss, I want to hear Kiss. I want to hear the
Hmm.
Yeah.
four members of Kiss, no matter what
Hmm.
the lineup is.
I think Gene
Yeah.
used them more often because he's just trying to get laid.
Oh
He
yeah.
saw it. He wanted to acquire women, so it was an opportunity.
What are you three doing later?
I'd stick my tongue out, but the floor's dirty.
Let's see. So we flipped the vinyl and Love Gun, and Love Gun is one of those songs that I'm very much fatigued over, but I
Oh.
still see it as the song
All right.
that it is. All right, I just got kicked off the show.
Hi, this is Tommy with Critical Kiss. I'm now accepting applications for a third co-host. Go ahead.
Listen, man. I told you from the
Listen,
beginning we were
Linda.
not always going to agree. Tommy, you know how I feel about Love
You
Gun.
know.
Don't act surprised. You know how I feel about Love Gun.
I know.
It isn't that I don't like it.
It's for dramatic effect.
I just don't believe all the hype in it.
Okay.
But but I'm not saying that it's okay if you are, and I'm not even going to say that you got bad taste because you do. I'm not. I mean, I'm not saying you have. I'm not saying that you have bad taste. I'm saying I'm not going to. I don't know. Anyway, Love Gun.
No, I like that. I'll
I
cut
will.
the where you try to fix it out because
I will. I will
the
at
way you said it
least.
was perfect.
I will at least say that Love Gun on this album is good. It's very good. And listen to the demo. The demo is basically what's on the album except for the solo. So Paul had it that well built before he walked into the studio. He had it worked out in his mind, kind of like Ace does with his songs. Had to get Ace compliment in there on a
Had
Paul
to.
song. I mean, go figure. But I say it's critical to the album. I mean, the damn album's named Love Gun, and it's critical to the catalog, and it's critical to history. It is the third most played song behind Rock and Roll All Night and Detroit Rock City. It's the third most played song because once Paul put Love Gun out, he played it every opportunity he got. I think it's only third just because it came out after Detroit Rock City and after Rock and Roll All Night. Had it come out on an earlier album, it would have been the most played Kiss song because it's Paul's baby. So yes, 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 all the way around.
Oh my God. It's my all-time favorite song of Kiss. This is my all-time favorite Kiss song. Yes, across the board, for sure. I can't get enough of it.
See, I know I'm going to be in the minority on this with you guys because I always am. I always am in the minority when it comes to Love Gun. I just don't like it as much as everybody else
Right.
does.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's all right.
It's okay to be wrong.
It's okay to be wrong. I mean, which y'all are, but I mean,
but it's yeah. I'll blast this any time of the day. I kind of sort of sing along with it.
yeah. I really love you, babe. Paul comes out blazing, man. That voice,
Oh,
he
man.
had that voice developed.
And you just all I can picture is him swinging on his little swing. Come down there and sing to you.
I'm coming out there to you.
You gotta be just a little louder.
So all-time favorite Kiss song across the board. Yes, yes, yes.
All right, Tommy.
Yes.
Just yes.
Yes, 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 yes. It is my all-time favorite song of any song ever made, not just Kiss. It's about
There you
Paul
go.
Stanley's dick. It is the greatest song ever written. I don't care what anybody says.
You
It
pull
is
the
the
trigger,
best
baby.
song ever. Love Gun. And the solo.
Oh yeah, I love the solo. Yeah.
I like the machine gun triplets.
Oh, yeah. And then when they do it with the pyro,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
and not very politically correct, but back in the old days, whenever they did this song at the very end, Paul would lift his guitar up like it was a machine gun
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
shoot at the crowd.
can't do that anymore.
Can't do that now.
Come on. If
Just
it
a
was
bunch
Ace's
of
guitar,
pussies
maybe
now.
if it was Ace's gimmick guitar, maybe I could see my ex.
There we go.
There you go.
There you go. Whew.
Well, we're
on,
talking
YouTube.
about our dicks.
Come on, YouTube.
The Love Guns is dick, Ronnie. Haven't watched that in a while.
He's singing about stuff. Oh, you pull the trigger.
Right, Love Gun.
After Love Gun, we have Hooligan. Peter's song. Peter's one track on the album, Hooligan.
Peter
I
finally made
say that it is it's critical to the album because it's a Peter song, but it is not critical to it's not critical to the catalog. It's not critical to history. But I like Hooligan. It's probably one of my favorite. Hooligan and Baby Driver are probably my two favorite Peter songs during his time with Kiss.
Yeah.
Not on his solo album, just like Kiss album songs. And so I love Baby Driver off of Rock and Roll Over. And I mean, you got Black Diamond, of course, but once you get past the trilogy albums, you got Beth, and then you have Baby Driver and Hooligan. I think he had three good songs. Some people argue Hooligan is the weaker of the three, and some people like Rock and Roll Over, Baby Driver and Hooligan because they don't like Beth. They don't like the softness of Beth. So, but it's a yes, no for me.
I agree with that. Album, yeah, Pete song. Didn't get much, didn't give much to work with, but I wish they would have done a little more with it. I think they did. Did they do it? They did do it live one time, didn't they?
Yeah, they did it
Yeah,
live
the whole
on tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was originally supposed to be on a live tour, a live two with Take Me, which
Yeah, right.
I would love for that to be on there.
Yeah, but instead
They could have cut a couple of that. They could have cut Tomorrow and Tonight, and
Yeah.
what was the other one they did?
Hard Luck Woman.
Hard Luck Woman. They could have cut. Although they tried to make Hard Luck Woman to follow up to Beth, they
Right.
were doing their best, but they could have cut those two and actually put two songs that they did live.
Yeah,
in there.
I mean, it's goofy, but yeah, the album, yes. The other two, no. Unfortunately, Pete usually got swept to the side a lot, but I could probably see his frustration. And in some points, he was, pain in the ass for a lot of it. But yeah, I wish they would have done more. Wish we'd have heard more. But I like it too. I like a lot more Pete stuff nowadays than when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So,
I think Paul never, my hot take on the reason why Peter didn't have as good of success on the second three Studio Kiss albums than he did on the first three, even though they had the mega hit Beth that basically put them out to the grand populace of people and made them a household name. I think it hurt Paul's Love Gun a little bit. I think it hurt Paul's Love Gun a lot because him and Gene didn't originally want to put it on the album, and then Peter turns around, the most ungrateful person in the band at that time, turns around and gets their biggest hit, and that was probably like a slap in the face to Paul. And so Paul's like, "Okay, you bastard, you ain't getting Black Diamonds and Nothing to Lose and Get Away anymore. You're not getting Strange Ways. You're not getting stuff like that. You're going to get the scraps, and you're going to get you're only going to get one song. We're going to tie you to just one song on the album." Because Peter had a great voice and he was a great drummer, and he was in his prime during this. Some of the best drumming, some of the best singing. But yeah, I think they kind of clipped his wings, clipped his tail. He being a cat. And I think it was a lot of jealousy with Paul. Paul's got a very jealous personality. I think he was
very catty.
And he was very catty. He was he's very catty towards the cat man.
Yep.
Hey, you see what you did there.
I'm here all night, folks.
Yeah, but it's even more so with Ace. My gosh, it probably tasted like the bitterest pill it could be seeing Ace having 3 and 4 songs on Dynasty and on Unmasked, and people wanting more Ace and him becoming the favorite at shows. He probably lost sleep at night over it.
All right, Hooligan. So we went from talking about Paul's ding dong to a Peter.
Yeah.
So I'm in that camp, Brant, where Hooligan is probably my least favorite of the Peter songs. That's not saying I don't like it, because I do. It's got that very doo-wop-y 50s kind of jazz vibe to it. I went down to the candy store, and if I had a nickel, I'd buy some more, and I'm also It's jazzy. Very
65 Chevy on a 55 frame. Can't even spell my name.
Yeah. it's very jazz hands.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I like it, and
Prelude to
it,
his solo album.
it
Yeah.
definitely should have been on a live too, because I think live it hit different.
Yeah, it sounded
Um,
good. You go back and watch those videos from like Budokan and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, it sounded good.
I watched the summit in Houston today, and
Yeah.
I was like, man, they
Yeah.
really missed it. Because like
Yeah.
even just the when he's doing the little drum intro to it, like
hmm
it's almost like the whole set shaking. He's got so
hmm
much energy. He's bottled it up, waiting for this moment.
hmm
Um,
Well,
but
that was
yeah,
a
I
blow.
mean,
He had a lot of energy. He did.
he had a nose for things.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Blame Ezra for
yeah,
that, damn it.
yeah. Now, man, I hate to say it that that it's my least favorite of the Peter songs, but to the album, yeah, definitely because it is a Peter song, and we want this was the first album we got all four singing, and
Yeah.
that could at the end of the day be why it's my favorite because as we know, with Dynasty, Peter does Dirty Living, that's it. So
Yeah,
this is the only opportunity we got all four to play on all four lead songs.
hmm
Um, because like you said, Brant, yeah, Ace kind of did his own thing, just him and Anton
Yep.
on Dynasty and Unmasked. So yeah, I think yes to the album because if nothing else, it's Peter. But like you said, with Shock Me launching Ace's career, we see what happened with Peter after Kiss. He had the two flop albums, and they even gave him a song to do on one of his solo albums, and it still didn't go anywhere. And it's really a shame because, like you said, Peter is so talented, was and is like I love
hmm
his voice.
Oh
That
yeah.
raspy Rod Stewart sounding voice is just so soothing to the soul, and it's a shame. But yeah,
Peter's biggest drawback, and we'll
is
keep this,
himself.
is himself, but the fact that he's a drummer that does not know how to write songs and does not know how to play an instrument. If Peter would have known how to do something, like had a little bit of songwriting capability, he can only write songs with other people. And I think it's because he couldn't, it wasn't that he couldn't write lyrics and write melody. I think it's and sing melody to songs. I think he couldn't come up with the structure of a song. So he always had to have a co-writer or somebody write a song for him. If he would have been able to play piano or play guitar and actually sit down and pen the music and write all of his own songs and have been done, having been done that throughout the years, his solo career would have looked very different. His songs on Kiss would have looked very different. Because I mean, here he is all the way up in '77, and he's still writing songs with Stan Pendridge. And
Yeah.
his solo album is Stan Pendridge and Son Delaney
Mhm.
writing songs with him and for him. So he really should have learned. In hindsight, he should have learned how to play an instrument. I mean, it'd be like kind of like with me. I'm a drummer, but I can write songs because I can hear songs in my head and I can pick up a guitar or a bass guitar and fuddle around with one finger on the fretboard enough to bang a melody out for somebody else in the band who can then turn around and go, oh, yeah, I can play this rhythm to that, or I could
Yeah.
do this to that.
Here's the chord
So,
progression. We'll
right.
go with that.
Right.
Yeah.
We're gonna start on this chord and we're gonna go to this chord and do this rhythm kind of like this, kind of bang that rhythm on the I may just be banging on one chord on one string, but then a guitarist can turn around and be like, oh, that's a G chord, and you play it this,
Yeah. Oh,
So
maybe go up an octave here.
yeah,
Here we
yeah.
go.
So but that's the biggest thing he had going against him.
I
All right.
agree.
All right. So the demon song of the album, Almost Human. I love Almost Human. God, it's so good. And the bongos in it or the congas, whatever they are, and just I'm almost human. That growl again that he has. Um, but I like it. I think it's critical to the album, critical to the catalog and history. No, it's one of those deep tracks that just kind of you're not a hardcore Kiss fan, you don't know this song.
Yeah.
So I'd say yes, no, no.
I like it too. I think for the album, yeah, critical catalog and history, no, unfortunately. But it's you had your pervert Gene song with Christine 16. Well, now it's time for the evil Gene song.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
almost more like horror porn is what it kind of reminds me of. Like if there was a porno like with horror themes, that would be the song in it because something about the bongos, but him and the
Yeah.
background singers. Yeah, so
And
I
you got
really like
that
Almost
it.
and you got
human.
that wicked solo with them on those falsettos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean
Doing
it's
that chromatic scale and Ace
yeah.
coming in with that solo that sounds like it's got backwards parts to it, and
Hmm.
him just already kind of experimenting with Eddie on stuff that he would turn around and do on his album. So this is kind of like his warm up,
Yeah.
and the and the songs that Eddie would produce for the side four of Alive 2 when Bass put Rocket Ride on there. My goodness.
Mhm.
So yeah,
I wish it would have went somewhere, but unfortunately it didn't. So, but
yeah, no.
it's good. It's good for the album, I think, for sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I think it was. I didn't look up its status of how many times it was played. I didn't do that this time around, but I imagine it wasn't played very much.
I
Yep.
think
Yep.
they did it a few times on the convention, but
Hmm.
that I
Yeah.
think that's about it. Maybe on the I think they did it maybe on the cruise, one of the cruises.
Yeah, they
I
might have.
think.
Yeah. Can we
Uh, what? What?
can we count the cruises though as times performed or
Those are performed. Yeah, I mean, they're those are performances. Mm.
They're in makeup.
okay? Yeah.
I think we can count
Okay.
I would have liked to consider it, seen it. I'd
it.
like to
Yes.
seen it played more
Yeah. See
in
what
the
they did with it.
'70s.
Yeah. Get the
Yeah.
lights down, real, some creepy little red light with some maybe strobes in the background or something. Oh well, we can AI
Painting
that
quite
now.
the picture.
You can
Yeah.
you can AI it now, so we could probably actually watch it. We could probably see it live, 1977 AI though.
Maybe they'll do that for the avatars.
There you
Yeah,
go. There you go. And charge 100
There you go,
bucks.
Pop House.
yeah.
There's an idea for you. Almost human.
Yep.
Yeah, yes to the album for me. No, the rest of the way. That little breakdown right before they go into the background singing that. Ba, da, 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 da,
Hmm.
da, 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 ba. Oh, you are. I
Yeah.
love that. But yeah, I think this is one that could have been a home run had they done it live.
Next, Plaster Caster,
Yeah.
another Gene song. Now he goes back to being Pervy Gene. And everybody knows the story behind Plaster Caster. He talks about the Plaster Caster lady, and he never was actually cast, but he wishful thinking. But I think to me, it made for a great song. And you're probably not going to really understand my voting on this, but I say that yes, this is a critical to the album. I think it's critical to the catalog, and I also think it's critical to history. And the reason why is because it's not really so much of the song itself, but the reputation of the song. Kind of like Christine 16 to me has that reputation. Plaster Caster, everybody talks about Plaster Caster because it's notorious for what the Plaster Caster actually was. Um, but I love the way Gene sings it. He pulls the growl out and he goes back to singing. He's getting anxious. Kind of sounds like he did. I was getting late. Yes. Um, but he does know, he does pull it out when he goes, things
Uh-oh.
are complicating. My love is in her hands. He pulls it out a little bit.
There's no more
I
way.
love that
Can't you
line. My love is in
understand?
her hands. I didn't get that when I was a kid. But my love is in her hands.
What's his love?
Yeah. My love is perfection, a token of my love for her collection. I mean, it's great songwriting. So,
Hmm.
but I think it's critical to the album. But I think being critical to the catalog, maybe I could say a no, but I'm going to say yes. But History, yeah, because I mean, this is a very notorious song. So I'm going to say yes, yes, yes.
I picture him in the beginning of the song sitting in a robe and just like recollecting about the time where this telling a story like
Yeah, and he's in his
He's got a
robe.
bubble pipe like Garth on Wayne's World.
Party on.
He's in his robe. His robe's open from down at the bottom, exposing himself, and he's resting his bass guitar on his schmeckle, and he's sitting there
Still
playing that long.
works.
He's sitting there playing that long note, that do 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 do. It's like, when is this song gonna start? He's just do 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 do. Yeah,
Oh,
that guitar comes in. That's perfect Paul guitar.
Well, wasn't
Yeah.
this story? Isn't there a story where he contacted him or tried to get them to do it, and they turned him down?
I think he did try. I think he did ask. Yeah.
And they're like, "No, thanks."
Yeah. And wait a minute. Let me make sure I give the right credit, because Gene actually plays rhythm on a couple songs on this. Personnel. Gene Simmons rhythm guitar on Christine 16 and Got Love for Sale. So this
wow.
is a rhythm guitarist Paul on
Okay,
this.
there you go.
Yep, and confirming what I said earlier, Ace Frehley, lead guitar, vocals, all guitars, and bass on Shock Me.
Wow.
Ace
That's
Frehley lead
awesome.
guitar.
And Paul
Every-
and Love Gun, Paul plays bass on Love Gun. So Love Gun is basically a Paul song, which, I mean, we knew that. So
See, I
yeah,
always thought it was Ace that played the bass on Love Gun. So I love the bass line in Love Gun.
yeah,
I love that.
that do 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 do
Yeah.
do. That sounds like something Ace would do.
Yeah. Either way, it's
No, believe it or not, it's Paul.
yeah. Well, he did a bang up job on that bass line, and then here, Gene, now
Thanks.
you do it. Now you do it live.
Yeah, yeah, you can do it live.
But as far as the critical stuff with Plaster Caster, I'd probably go album, yes. Category, it's kind of iffy. And
Yeah.
the catalog, I mean. History, yes, because of the story and everything, and
Yeah, it's got a whole lore behind it.
Mhm.
yeah, I
Mhm.
remember hearing about it before hearing it as a kid, well, kiddish, when I
Mhm.
eighth grade or whatever it was. And then I started, I had learned more about the Plaster Caster chicks. Like, wow, these chicks are awesome. That kind of gross.
And apparently, those kits are available at adult stores.
Mm-hmm.
You can make an
I've
adult,
told my wife that
an
if I
adult
die,
toy.
I want her to mold me.
an adult toy for your woman.
Well, they ain't gonna be using much for me, so it's just
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
Can I just get half of the material?
yeah.
She'll have to get like the micro kit. But
I'm sure they come in sizes.
Yeah,
Sure
right.
they do.
you're gonna have a
Everything-
lot of mold left over, but you'll get
Yeah.
you'll get the point.
Can I get the extra small white guy kit?
That's my take.
All right, Plaster Caster, yes to the album. Catalog, like you guys, it's iffy. It's better on Unplugged, in my opinion.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
in that case, then I'll say yes to the catalog, just for the
Yeah,
Unplugged.
because it made it
version.
to unplugged.
Yeah. And Paul actually just mentioned Plaster Caster as one of his favorites on I think it's called the 500 podcast. They do an album every episode and they get guests to do it, and they got Paul Stanley that talks about it live, but at the end of the episode they talked about his favorite songs and he mentioned Deuce, Rock and Roll All Night, of course. He didn't even mention Love Gun, which was shocking.
Wow.
But he
that
mentioned
is-
Plaster Caster, which is on Love Gun. So for that, for Unplugged, I'll say yes to the catalog, and to History, yes. It's got a whole backstory behind it. All the fans talk about it. It's kind of like one of our little sewn on patches to our jean jacket that we wear
Mhm.
as a badge of honor, that Gene talked about having his ding dong molded, even though he really didn't. But
Even though I really didn't.
They really didn't. They didn't want it.
they should have molded his tongue.
Yeah.
Little flappy tongue. Put it on, put it on the end of the popsicle stick.
He probably could have made money if he made a rubber one of that.
Probably.
Nope.
Just saying.
They just used it as the condom.
You can have Gene Simmons. Yep. Have it molded on the end of a condom.
Well, they have one.
Yep. Yeah, the Gene one is his tongue on like
Yeah.
printed on it, and then the
Yeah.
Paul one is like studded, ribbed for her pleasure.
Yeah.
Studied for her pleasure.
Yeah,
right.
I have one.
Why?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
ruin an album? Why?
Yeah, yeah.
She walked up to me and she asked me if I wanted to dance.
You may as well just left the he in there and not even change it to she, because it's just I'm like
Listen, if you go back and you listen to demos from this era, Gene Simmons had an awesome demo called Reputation.
Mm-hmm.
Reputation should have replaced Then She Kissed Me. Gene also had another demo that was good, not as good as Reputation, but better than that stuff. Demo called Much Too Soon.
yeah.
Either one of those could have replaced this.
But then you'd have too many Gene songs. And
You'd have five. It would be 5 Gene songs.
That would hurt Paul's ego.
Paul was not going to allow that to happen, so he's going to stick.
I'm
So he's going to
singing
stick
Then
this
She Kissed
track.
Me.
He going.
But how many albums are titled after Paul songs? Love Gun, Creatures of the Night, Lick It Up.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
So-
Luckily, Gene don't have a fragile ego.
He just wants to make money.
How many albums has Paul had the lead song on?
Yeah, right.
Almost all of them, except for a couple. Gene, Revenge, he leads.
Yep.
Carnival of Souls, he leads. And a lot of people don't even consider that a Kiss album. They're wrong, but you know, it's just like, yeah, Paul has led.
Yeah, the leadoff man.
Even though the first album, I argued this for the longest time, they used to open their shows with Deuce. Why did they not open their first album with Deuce? Why did Strutter have to be the first song?
Yeah.
They led now if you get live albums, Gene gets one. They open the first a live album with Deuce.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah. You go,
I just and I know some people like this song. They love the 80s pop of it, and not the 80s pop, the AM pop of it, and but no, they can like it, but I don't. So I think that it's not critical to the album. It's not critical to the catalog. It's detrimental.
It's a cover.
Yeah, it's not really a Kiss song. So.
Yeah, it's no across the board for me. As soon as I hear that opening chord, that's when
Next.
It angers me almost.
Yeah. Let me back up to Shock Me.
Yeah, right. Nothing, anything else. I'll listen to Hooligan again. And like
wow.
Yeah. like no, just why? You're right. Just nope for me. No. Could have done something else way cooler. You had a really good album going there and you just kind of whipped again, you know?
Or cut it at 9 tracks like you did with the
Or
story.
you could have, yeah, you could have done that too, right?
As I said, this is my favorite album. And I agree, it shouldn't have been on the album. This should have been kind of like with what they did with Kissing Time originally, made it a single maybe, just kind of threw it out there to AM radio, like you said. Because every time I hear it now, especially now, I always think of Goodfellas when they're walking into the Copacabana. And like every time I watch it, I almost want to just believe like at some point they're going to do the Kiss version, but they never do. Because it's a movie and it doesn't change. But yeah, no across the board. It's silly. I've always said if you're going to do a cover song, you shouldn't switch between he and she. Like that shouldn't matter. Like just sing the song the way it was written. But it is what it is.
No.
And a lot of bands were ending their albums with covers, so whatever. But yeah, cut it off at 9.
Yeah.
Bury it in the desert.
All right. So why or why not is the album critical to the catalog or history in general? My hot take is that this is the most critical of all the Kiss albums. it's the most. It's that tipping point in the center of, even though it's not in the center of their career as a whole, it's in the first era of the band. It's dead, almost dead in the center. Um, it's not only built on the momentum they had off of Alive and Destroying Rock and Roll, as I said earlier, but it also exploded Kiss. I said this earlier, exploded Kiss into that super Kiss where you got all this crap that's behind me.
Yeah.
Like the reason why I'm not showed off a lot of my collection is because a lot of this stuff came after this album and the albums after it, Alive, Double Platinum, the solos. This is the album that kind of like started that. It was just it didn't start it, but it's the one that's like, okay, this is where we're definitely taking it to the next level. And they did as a band. It was not only in the album itself, but with the merchandising that would be around it and would follow it. So to me, this is not only a critical album, but it could easily be the most critical album. That had a stinker here. Who knows? Would they have fizzled out, or would they have kept growing towards, you know, what they would screw up in the early 80s?
I agree with you, man. It's definitely critical. I think it's probably the pinnacle, really, if you think about it, because then Alive 2 came out, and then it kind of, and then the Dynasty, then, you know, was kind of like, unfortunately, I mean, Dynasty is a great album, but I think this is probably this was it, man. This was the roller coaster he was talking about, you know?
Yeah, it's the very top. It's when you're on the roller coaster and you just getting ready to go across the top, and the
Yep,
line and the ride's getting ready to start.
yep, yep.
This is that.
Yep, it's definitely critical. Everything, because that, like we were saying before, that's when you think of Kiss, that's the first thing that usually pops up in your head is that look, at least to me, you know.
It's either this album or the Destroyer album.
Yeah, and they're, yeah, so for
And
sure.
it's the thumbprint of the two different eras. The
Mhm.
early era with Destroyer, even though it's technically after Alive, they still had kind of like the Alive-ish costumes.
Yeah,
Um, and then this one, it's like those two albums.
yep. So yeah, for sure. And if yeah, it probably would have been the end if it flopped, or but this was full steam ahead, man.
This
Good
is the
stuff.
Kiss that you think about. This is the Kiss, other than Dynasty. This is the Kiss and the costumes and the era and the stage and the photos and the Kiss cards and all the other crap that we bought when we were
The
kids.
Mego dolls.
The Mego dolls,
Yeah, yeah,
all the guitar, the radio. It's
The
this album.
van.
It's this album and Alive 2, which is basically nuzzled right up next to it.
yep.
This came out in June. Alive 2 came out in October. So it is everything that we know of as the original Kiss era. It is everything. It's all the stuff that we collect. Like I said, between it and the solo album and the Dynasty era, they're all kind of compacted there in between 77, 78, 79. But still, it's those 3 years encapsulated everything that we kind of know and celebrate of the band. And it kind of started with this album.
Like we've said before, and this is also why it's critical to me, not only because it's my favorite album, but Alive made them stars. Destroyer made them superstars, which Rock and Roll Over and Destroyer kind of, since it's the same year, but Rock and Roll Over is kind of more Love Gun. But this made them mega superstar. Like this, like you said, Brent, this is the beginning of Super Kiss to me. It's not Dynasty. This is Super Kiss. They had the Marvel comic, like I mentioned earlier. They were getting ready to do a movie. I mean, it was, Kiss was everywhere. You couldn't get away from, and I wasn't even around, but I know, like, just, my dad was a Kiss fan. He saw him at Madison Square Garden on the Alive 2 tour in December of 77, and
Wow.
skipped school to go, like all that. Like, it was a big deal. So I grew up hearing all this stuff about Kiss in the 70s and how and it's, published everywhere and on the internet. You can look it up now, but that could be why this album means so much to me is because of all of that the adventure around this album and
Mhm.
what it did for the band. And, Ace getting his first lead vocal. Let's blow Ace some more.
Mhm.
But yeah, it is 100%, in my opinion, the most critical to the catalog.
Oh yeah, I agree. Totally. All right. So, which side is better, A or B? Um,
That's not
my
fair.
my opinion, A. It's got 4 songs, and I really like all the 4 songs, and it's got Shock Me. I've got some people could say
Five.
B.
Five.
It's got 4 songs I really like. It's got
Oh,
five
okay. Okay.
songs, but uh, you know,
I thought
tomorrow and
this was
tonight,
like a rock and roll over episode where we skip Baby
tomorrow,
Driver.
tomorrow and tonight, and kind of, um, but the other songs, especially Shock Me, it's got Shock Me, and then you've got Love Gun on the other. So I know which one side you guys are going to pick probably. I've got some people say B because of Love Gun, but it also has Then She Kissed Me on that side. So stay away. But to me, side A is the better of the two.
That's some shit. That's a tough one. That's a
It
tough
is
one. It
tough.
really is. I
This is
mean,
the hardest one by
yeah, I
far.
mean, side B has my all-time favorite song, but there are three songs more that I like more on side A. So fuck. Yeah, it's why couldn't they put Love Gun on side A? Be a
Maybe
whole lot
Carla
easier.
is right.
Be a whole lot
Yeah.
easier. Ah, shit. But I'd have to pick A. I'd pick A. Yeah, because Hooligans okay, Almost Human's good, Plastic Head, but then she kissed me. It just shits up that whole side. So
The
I'm going A.
stink is all over it.
Yeah,
I'm with you guys, actually.
yeah,
Love Gun's my favorite song of all time by any band or artist, and
yeah.
I have to go with side A. I Stole Your Love, Christine 16, Shock Me. Those three alone.
Yeah. All right. Most critical song, least critical song. Um, to me, I didn't know which way you could kind of go with most critical. There's 2 ways you can look at most critical song. You could say that the most critical song is Shock Me because it's the first time Ace sang lead and it made him a fan favorite and eventually launched a solo career. Or you could say Love Gun because it's one of the most known Kiss songs and it's Paul's favorite song and the album's named after it.
Best.
So, but me, since I overdose on blue Kool-Aid and Love Gun to me is middle of the road. Um, I'm going to say that my critical song on this is Shock Me. My least critical song is Then She Kissed Me. I think that falls actually under critical misstep.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it shocked me. First time hearing him sing, first time got his career going. So most critical, yeah, shocked me and least. Then she kissed me. Just almost ruined the whole album with that song. So those are my two.
All right, Tom.
Most critical. You guys make a good point for Shock Me. You do. You really do. But I'm going Love Gun.
There you go.
I knew you would.
Yeah, I mean, I have
Tough
to.
one.
Yeah, you have
I
to.
mean, it is tough though, because I mean, like I said, you make a good point with it being Ace's first lead vocal. That makes it very critical. Least critical, I'm gonna leave Then She Kissed Me alone because I just feel like it's a punching bag at this point. It's not even fair. I'm gonna go least critical, Got Love for Sale, because I did give it a no for the album even,
Yeah.
because it's just I'm waiting to get from Christine 16 to Shock Me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
it goes, I Saw Your Love, Christine 16, Got Love for Sale. Like, come on, get to it. I know it's coming now. Like, maybe not the first time I listened to it because I didn't really know Shock Me all that well. But now, looking at it now, in hindsight, I'm like, let's just get to it already.
Yeah.
But Shock Me is in a good spot because it like it's you're riding that wave. Like you got the first two, like that roller coaster we were talking about. Got that,
Mhm.
and then you got a little bit of a dip with Got Love for Sale. Not that it's a bad song. I'm sure there's gonna be a Kiss fan somewhere. Like, can you not let Got Love for Sale? It's their best song. It's all opinion.
You
We're
got
all right. We're all
shock.
wrong. Keep
Yeah.
drinking your blue Kool-Aid. You guys suck.
You got shock. All right. So merch. I'm just gonna go ahead and say for the next album when we do a live two, that is going to be a huge merch section for me because I have a lot of 78 merch. Um, a lot, a lot of 78 merch that I'm going to actually make sure that it is the merch that would be, because since we are going to do double platinum and since we are going to do solos, I'm going to make sure that I'm not doing merch that actually would have come out during double platinum or during the solos. It'll be stuff that would have been a live two merch. But I do have some merch. I have the Kiss Love Gun 8-track with its little bit of messed up track listing. I Stole Your Love, Christine 16, Got Love for Sale. They move up. And then Shot Me, Almost Human, they move up. And then Tomorrow and Tonight, Love Gun, Hooligan, Plaster Caster, and then She Kissed Me. So there's a couple continuations there. There's a part one, part two for Got Love for Sale, and a part one and part two for Hooligan. So the 8-track. I also have, this is not the remasters or reissues. This is Love Gun on CD. This is kind of the vein of CDs that not Ace, but that Rick was collecting, what he called the college CDs, the types that's just the silver. So I need to get the Love Gun reissue. I don't
That's
have
what,
that.
like 80, 88,
Yeah,
89, something
something
like
like
that.
that. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I
Old
have the
man,
remasters.
old man eyes can't see. Yeah, and that's what I'm actually
97.
I'm actually in the process of doing the remaster. So I know I'm going to have to recollect that one. Before I get into my albums, I will show I've told my wife that when I die, if I die before her, if she kills me, it,
I
when
have to edit that
she
out now.
when she gets rid of my Kiss collection, I don't care what she gets rid of, how much she gets rid of it for, or how much she tries to get out of it is up to her because I won't be around. But the one thing that I want her to keep and make sure that she doesn't get rid of, and she knows it, is this, because out of all my collection, this is what actually belonged to me when I was 7 years old, 8 years old, is my original Love Gun belt buckle. I used to wear this to Lingerfeld Elementary when I was in the 5th grade, wore it
That's
with
awesome.
pride.
Yeah.
And
That's
this
a
thing
family
is,
heirloom.
yeah,
Yeah.
this thing is very old. And it's seen better days, but it's still kicking it. It's the only thing that didn't get stolen. Whenever my Kiss collection got stolen years ago back in the 90s, this was actually in my house somewhere, not in my storage unit, because this is one thing that I actually do keep with me somewhere in the house where I'm living, and it stays right here behind me. So yeah, she knows to keep that because that's an original. And then I have some albums. I won't get bogged down on albums. I've got this Love Gun here that's an original press. It came from Chris Odom. I got this off of Etsy, believe it or not. And I
The
think it might
world
have been
famous Chris Odom at
the
this
Chris
point.
Odom. And I think this was my placeholder. That's why I usually keep it in the front because it's like whenever I was recollecting the albums, I bought this one. And I was like, okay, it don't have the gun or anything, but it is, I don't know exactly what pressing it is, but it's got the band on it. And then I have a Love Gun that has the Bang gun in it.
Ooh.
and it's
Has the
got
gun.
has the gun, and it's not only does it have the gun with the bang, but apparently it's got extra bangs. And
Hey,
from what I understand, the album only came with one. I don't
the hell?
remember.
It's always nice to get an extra bang in, you
Yeah,
know.
it has the cardboard that the gun was originally in.
Jeez.
Um, and so this was my, but the album itself on the inside is not in the greatest shape. I played it and it had some skips. So I was like, okay, I need to keep looking for an original, see if I can find something better. And then I found one better, that the album is in great shape, plays through flawlessly. It almost sounds like it hasn't even hardly been played. It still has like a glossiness. You know how when they've been overplayed, they start looking dull? It still
Yeah.
has a glossiness to it. But the coolest thing about this also is
Hey.
Whoa.
unused guns. Some kid
Wow.
missed out on a lot of fun because they didn't even play. They didn't play with their gun. They didn't even. They didn't even pop it out of the cardboard. And an unused bang.
Oh wow.
So a gun that wasn't played with and a bang that wasn't used.
Unbangable.
That's
Sounds like,
and then
sounds like my prom night. What?
and then more recent, I have two more. I have the sealed AJ sealed
Let it breathe.
suffocating 45th anniversary gold,
Yeah.
and this basically the 2014, but it's and I have the 2014, the actual 2014 reissue, still sealed, suffocating. And last but not least, I have, and it has breathed because I opened it on my channel. It's the Walmart Splatter exclusive.
Nice.
The amount of times I've passed on that, and I wish I would have got it now.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's pretty. The splatters, it's, I wish it would have been more splatter. We always want more splatter. But, so that's what I have. Like I said, I'm just fair warning is probably the next few episodes with Alive 2 and Double Platinum and the solo albums and Dynasty are going to be very merch heavy for me.
Cool.
Some of my
AJ,
stuff,
what you got?
some of my stuff I've never pulled out and shown, like it's back there, and I've just never really made a video about it. So it'd be kind of like a Critical Kiss exclusive.
Pull out your glove gun.
Pull it
I
out.
just did. I just pulled out all the love guns I got.
I got
He
I got
took
nothing.
it out.
He took it out.
I got nothing.
Seinfeld.
All I have is this, and it's alive. It's breathing.
Is that the 50 or the 45? I mean,
Yeah, 45th. Yeah.
oh, that's the gold one.
Pull that baby out. Let's see it.
Pull
Pull
it
it.
out.
Pull your love gun out there, AJ.
Pull out your gold member.
Yeah, pull out your gold love gun.
Show you what you're missing.
The gold
I love
member.
gold.
It says gold, but I don't know. It looks like mustard to me.
Yeah, yeah. That's how it kind of comes out, unless they do
That's-
some kind of silver flake. Yeah,
Yeah,
That's that spicy brown.
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's that Dijon.
That's right. So I got,
Dijon.
You have any Grey Poupon?
that's the only version I got. I got the CD and
Yeah.
I got this thing. Ooh.
Oh,
The poster, the 3D poster.
yes,
The
nice.
3D, yeah. That's it. That's as fancy as I get. And,
Mine's
and
an
a
original
calendar. Look at that.
original Pittman. No frills, no bangable gun or anything. But mine's got that glossy look to it as well.
Nice.
I just played it before we did this, and there's a couple of little hairlines on it, but it sounds fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, remasters, whatever. Ugh. I'm holding out. I wanted to get the Walmart version, but I knew they would eventually do a 50th, so I'm holding out on that, hoping maybe we get a box set for Love Gun, but we'll
Be
see.
nice.
Must be nice.
That's 2
Yeah.
years away, though.
Yeah, we still got a couple of years. I can wait. I'll have
Save your
two
money.
kids out of high school. Yeah.
Or save your
Yeah.
money.
And hopefully it'll be in a bundle that I like.
Yeah. That's the thing about the box sets that's coming out is like Gene kind of was like, and even Richard, or not Richard, Jason Herndon, and Kiss My Wax, Kiss My Collectibles is like, start saving your pennies, kids.
Yep.
They're gonna stick us again with their low gun.
I'm still waiting for Creatures to go down.
Yeah.
It hasn't. Not on Amazon.
All right. So trivia.
Yep.
All right. So like you said, we're going to have a T-shirt drawing in December. Everybody that wins trivia. This month's trivia is we actually talked about this earlier, mentioned it. So we gave you an answer, and but you can go Google it, Copilot it, Chat
Google it,
GPT,
schmoogle it, whatever you want to do.
Who sang back? Name a backup singer that sang backup on Tomorrow and Tonight. One was said earlier.
One was indeed said earlier.
Yeah.
Also, I do want to add to the trivia, if you did win and you got a button or a sticker, you're still going to be entered into the end. So if you've already won, still comment. I'll give you'll get an extra little piece on the wheel if you've already won and you comment still. Because that's what we want. We want you to comment.
Yeah. That's it for this one.
That's it. All right. So next time for June will be Brant's introduction. His favorite, his baby, Alive 2.
Live too. I can't wait.
And we will not be doing it live like we did for Alive because it was a mess.
YouTube don't like promoting lives for some reason.
No. Unless
They're
you're
not
a
They're not Twitch.
gamer. Till next time, I'm Tommy. Clairvoyant Audio Files here on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all that. Also, the show Critical Kiss 1 on Instagram because somebody has Critical Kiss. I check probably once every couple of weeks to see if that's fallen off to switch it, but Critical Kiss 1 on Instagram.
I'm Brand on YouTube, in my head channel, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and patreon.com/in my head.
Still AJ. Still here. _AJR Zetro 1975 on Instagram. Horror, metal, whatever the hell I want to do. Bang bang. Good times.
Shout out to Cactus Jack.
That's right.
All right, we'll see you next month with Kiss Alive 2.